Well, judge not, lest you be judged. Today we're talking about judging cigars with my father's cigar, The Judge. All next on the Zeal Cigar Review.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show.
There's only one judge right now.
Who is that judge?
Aaron Judge for the New York Yankees.
Aaron Judge for the New York Yankees?
Dude swings big gavels, bro.
I don't watch baseball for two reasons.
Big
One,
gavels.
I think it's a very boring sport. And two, I couldn't play it. So as a result, I don't watch it. So when I can't play something, I won't watch something. Typically, I don't watch a lot of basketball for the same thing. I used to play basketball. And I used to watch a lot of basketball.
Okay.
But now I can't play basketball anymore. But for football, I watch football. And so, but we do judge, right? I'm gonna just be honest about it. Every single person judges.
I'd say every person probably does.
Yeah, and when it comes
in
to
one way or another.
And when it comes to cigars, there is no shortage of cigar judges out there. There's reviewers, there's review magazines, and everything else like that. And a lot of those reviewers and review magazines judge this cigar pretty high. So today we're going to talk about what makes a cigar judgeable, what makes it sneezable,
Set my father's spice up in here, bro.
what makes a cigar a good cigar versus what makes a cigar a bad cigar. Okay? And the judgments in between. But before we judge a cigar, you know what we got to do. I mean, we got a whole podcast on it. We got to cut, light, and smoke. So let me ask you this. How you digging the podcast, dude? Are you liking it?
I mean, I don't think I have a choice, do I? I think I have to like it.
I asked you personally, but you don't say anything.
No, I'm enjoying it, man.
I
It's
hope so.
it's nice to be able to have free conversations without potential censorship.
Right. So we got uncensored talk about masculinity, cigars, and culture.
Culture for
essentially. Yeah, and today we're talking about the institutions that America no longer trusts anymore.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about today.
There's a lot of those.
A lot of those. So if you don't know, go to the podcast, Cut Light and Smoke Podcast, anywhere that you stream your podcast, including Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music. So all you got to do is ask Alexa, play Cut Light and Smoke Podcast, and she'll start playing it for you.
Or Siri.
Or Siri.
Or Google.
It's everywhere. So I've really had a good time on the podcast. I've really enjoyed it. And
Had your son on yesterday.
yeah, that was pretty
First
cool.
guest.
Man.
His son.
Did I tell you what happened?
No.
So he comes in yesterday after getting off work, and literally comes up to me.
Did you? After he got off work?
Yeah, he worked last night. Yeah, he worked last night.
Okay.
So after he got off work, he went from here to work. And so after he got off work, he came in, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, can I just have a hug?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." He's never asked for that since he's been like a teenager, right? And so he literally asked for a hug. And he's like, "I really had a good time on the podcast today.
Really?
I really had a good time. I'd come back and do it any other time." I thought that was really cool, you know.
He's he can at least speak to his opinions, and that I can't say that for a lot of kids his age.
He's articulate about his opinions.
He is articulate.
He's
yeah.
articulate about his opinions. So
Doesn't mean he always understands why he thinks that way.
right,
But he is
right?
articulate.
I know you're gonna get on him. You're gonna get on him last night. You're like, you kept telling me I saved
him from about two things that I was gonna jump on, but
we'll get him back on. So
those are conversations that can be had if necessary. They
Yeah.
were just gonna be had because they were there. But
Uncle JB was gonna level him down. Uncle JB was gonna
Uncle
get him.
JB always brings the hammer, dude. I always bring the big gavel.
Oh yeah. Oh, talking about the judge. So let me ask you a question. So we know there's cigar reviewers out there. We also know that cigars are very subjective, and people are very opinionated.
Very much.
So how can we know what cigar is a good cigar and what cigar isn't a good cigar? I mean, like, what are the differences?
Can I say one thing that we're going to talk about that really grinds my gears?
Go ahead.
The draw. There are some people that are just so anal about the draw of a cigar, and I don't know what I guess I think I've had like 2 or maybe 3 cigars that were so plugged that I couldn't smoke them.
Right.
Outside of that, there is no cigar that I've had where I've been like, oh man, this draw is terrible. I don't like this cigar.
Right.
Or this draw's too loose. Maybe almost one was too loose.
Okay.
But it wasn't like off-putting. You know what I mean? So that's probably the one that I have the biggest pet peeve with.
So I think that's I understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that. I guess I can't relate because I'm in the same boat as Justin. The draw thing really isn't big for me, but I know it's a lot. It's really big out there for you. So do me a favor, real quick, if you could, in the comments, drop down how you judge cigars. Give me the 5 criteria by which you judge cigars, and we're going to try to make up 5 on the fly because this video doesn't have any script or anything like that. So
Speaking of fly fishing, did you ever catch any fish when you went?
No, I caught some bass, but I didn't catch them fly fishing. Yeah, I know. I didn't catch them on the river.
I've never fly fished, so I can't give you too much crap.
It's overrated.
Because I'll probably fail too.
Completely overrated. Completely overrated. But so, if you're going to judge a cigar, what's one of the first things that you judge a cigar on? I'm going to say it, and this is a big thing. What's one of the first things that you judge a cigar on when you are smoking it? Not when you're looking at it, because a lot of us buy our eyes, and you can see that my father has an incredibly great ornate, band on this cigar. So the band is beautiful on this cigar. It really is. It's just, the band is beautiful. It's great, and you can see they put a lot of detail into this, but there's a lot more that goes beyond the band into a cigar. So give me one of the criteria that's most important for you when judging a cigar.
For me, number 1 is, how's it taste? Does it taste good?
That's the first one.
Does it make me smile?
Yeah. When you smoke it, you kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that it doesn't make me smile. There's times I do this. Oh, okay, and then it goes from an O into an, all right, I hear you, and then I'm like, I see you, and I name the manufacturer.
Yeah.
I see you, my father. I see where you're at. I see where you're coming from. Okay, so it's a taste. Number 1's a taste.
For me, yeah, it's got to be a great tasting cigar.
Okay. Number 2 for me would probably be the burn.
The burn?
Yeah, the burn. I like
Okay.
a razor sharp burn. I don't like messing with my cigar a lot. I don't like relighting my cigar and things like that. And sometimes when that happens, it takes away from the experience of smoking a cigar, because a lot of times when you're smoking a cigar, you're having a conversation with somebody, you're sitting around talking, or you're listening, and you're not thinking about the cigar. It's supposed to be an afterthought of pleasure, not something that you work on the whole time.
Okay.
Now, if you are doing something while you smoke a cigar, you might have to come back and trim it out a little bit, but I don't like trimming out my cigars. And you'll notice, even with some of our, with some cigars that I even smoke, that I will trim them out because I don't like weird burns. Some guys don't care if it canoes and everything like that. It drives me nuts. And I really hate it. And so I try to smoke a cigar slower versus faster so it doesn't canoe. But inevitably on these cigar reviews, I'm always smoking them faster than I should. So, but here we go. So what's your number 2?
My number 2 would probably be, honestly, this is gonna sound weird, but when I cut it.
When you cut it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can tell really quickly how it's packed. There are some where like you hit stems when you cut them.
Yeah.
There's some that like they just stay together like super great when you cut them. Like I don't think I've ever had my father come apart when I've cut it with a V-cut.
No.
Ever.
And V-cuts are probably the most pressure-sensitive cut because you're going to a point.
Yeah.
You're going to a point on there. So that's a good point. That's a good point to cut.
I don't know why, but there's some, and sometimes you can tell like if it's got short filler in it, you cut it and then the tobacco falls out.
Okay.
I don't know. I just, when I get a good clean cut, I know it's going to be a nice smoke.
Okay. Well, number 3 for me would probably be the mouthfeel. I like a good cigar in my mouth. I tend to talk with a cigar. I tend to hold them if I'm typing on the computer or I'm doing something at work. A lot of times what I'll do is kind of do this. And push it around my mouth. I'm doing something, and I'll even take it in my finger. So I'll say it's a mouthfeel and a mouthfeel and a hold. So I hold a cigar like this almost every time, and I'm searching on my mouse. And if you ever look at my mouse, I have a touchpad mouse, and it's literally ashy every time you look at it because I'm dropping ash on it. So literally that's a big thing for me. So the mouthfeel / hand feel is another big thing for me. And there's certain cigars that feel really good, and there's cigars I've had that are like really squishy.
Okay.
I don't like that at all. I don't like a squishy cigar. This cigar is aptly packed. It's firm. It's not overtly hard whatsoever. It's almost perfect in the density to the tobacco to wrapper ratio that I feel. That sounded really educated, but I just made that up.
I would say number 3 for me would be the burn.
Number 3
I'm not as picky if it starts going away, but
Mm-hmm.
what I do absolutely get really frustrated about is if it goes out.
Yes. Yeah, when you have to relight a cigar and so on and so forth.
Especially I've had a couple that I've had to do multiple times.
And that frustrates
And
you.
I have been like in it. One of them, I was like legit trying to cheech like a train, dude.
Right,
like,
right.
Smoke the chooch.
I think that's I mean, sometimes you can't help a cigar going out, particularly if you're just setting it down and you're doing something else.
Right.
But if it's sit down for a minute or 2 minutes, a good cigar should stay lit for at least a minute, if not 3 to 5. If you're just setting it down for a little while. But after about 3 to 5 minutes, you can expect your ash to kind of cool down and literally burn out. So,
yeah, I think they say you should be puffing about every minute to minute 30 is what they say.
Absolutely. But what's number 4 for me? Number 4 would absolutely have to be the retrohale. How does it taste on the retrohale?
Okay,
not in my mouth,
specifically, not just the flavor.
Not
in
just
general.
the flavor. I want
Okay.
the retrohale. So, how does it taste on the retrohale? Because there's cigars that if you don't retrohale, you cannot get the full experience of the cigar out of it.
Yeah,
I'd say
seen that.
majority of cigars are like that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So when you see these write-ups in magazines and everything else like that about what the cigar tastes like, and they're talking cashews and almonds and chocolate and cocoa and coffee, and even we do that here on the video review. We're often retrohaling the cigar, telling you the flavors that we get in our nasal cavity. So you got 21 taste sensors in your nasal cavity and only 5 in your mouth. So that's why it's so important to retrohale a cigar that where you basically blow out about 25% or 75% of the smoke, and then the last 25 you let escape through your nasal cavity. It looks something like this. It's that My Father premium spice that cannot be replicated no matter where you go. It also is it's a leathery cigar. Mm-hmm. It's a leathery cigar.
It is.
Little, I would say, dark nuts.
Yes.
Dark nuttiness, like almost like a dark wood, dark nuts. It's almost half and half right there.
Like roasted.
Yeah. Like that roasted fire.
Yeah.
Fire nuts, if you would. But so that's my number 4. What's your number 4?
Number 4 for me is the smoke output.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that doesn't necessarily mean how much smoke is drawn through the cigar, but like how much smoke does it just output in general? There's some that you can just light like crazy and it just doesn't matter. You just don't get a lot of smoke out of it. And I don't know if that has to do with the way the tobacco burns or what, but yeah, I would say I like one that has a good, like, pretty generous pull, quite a bit of smoke.
Right.
That's quite a bit, I would say.
I would definitely. I'm with you on the number 5 there, right there. We're on the same page because I like a dense smoke. I like a thick smoke.
Yeah.
I don't like when I pull through a cigar and I don't get any smoke or very little smoke. And I feel like I have to toke it for a long time. What do you call chooching the cigar?
Chooching it.
Yeah, choo-choo train it. So I think that's. I think I've been in good company with people who think that probably online, because if you're smoking a cigar, you don't just want to simply, I don't know.
I don't want to have to work too hard.
You don't want to work too hard at it.
I guess that's why people don't like the tight draws. Mm-hmm. They don't want to work too hard at it.
But cigars vary in draw. They do vary in draw.
Like,
And there might be draw machines out there.
This tighter.
It is a tighter draw.
Yeah.
It is a tighter draw. Yeah, it is a tighter draw. But it's not too tight you can't pull through it.
Yeah,
it is,
no.
Yeah, it is more of a tighter draw compared to your Padron for sure.
Yeah.
But I would also say it has more flavor, than a Padron as well. So, and it tends to be that the packedness of a cigar to me tends to give me more flavor than the loose packed cigars, like a Padron, if you would.
Yeah.
I
would say my final thing that I really judge a cigar on.
Your number 5.
My number 5 is the journey.
Yeah, you get into the journey thing a lot.
Yeah, I want the cigar to I want it to take me somewhere.
Okay.
But I want it to take me somewhere as it evolves through the smoke.
Okay.
I don't want to stay in the same place the whole time I smoke it.
So you like the transitions in a cigar?
Yes.
You need transitions.
I want it to keep me interested and take me as I go through it. I want to take a journey. You know what I mean? I want to go somewhere with it.
And if you've ever watched the reviews here, you know that Justin, when he turns a curve on the journey, he'll just sit there and be like, "Whoa, okay, whoa." I'm getting, and he'll do this, the circle motion. Wind it up, wind it up, wind it up. Wind it up.
Motion.
Yeah, the wind it up. Wind
Circular. Riding the boat.
Yeah.
Feeling the flow. Working it.
It's just it's really one of those like that's your thing, dude. I got multiple videos. One day I do a blooper reel. Justin just going like this, and then you do this sometimes.
And pulling the
smell the smoke. Smell the smoke. Looks like you're smelling a fart.
Well,
okay.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like the smoke that's burning off the end is different than the smoke that's burning off the front. But I'm not just gonna. Well, I've tried once, but I'm not just gonna smoke it from the front of the cigar. So for me, I can blend some of that smoke burning off the front with the smoke that I just retrohaled.
Absolutely.
And kind of blend it in a little bit. It's kind of weird, but you can get a different ambiance from the cigar.
Well, the My Father Judge, definitely a winner. I would say definitely medium to full body. I wouldn't say this is a lighter cigar whatsoever. I'd say the pepper's probably a 4 or 5. You know, it's not super like heavy, but it is there, 100%. Leather, roasted nuts, some dark wood, I'd say, in that signature My Father spice on the heavy note, like on the pepper, not like baker spice. I got like like slight baker spice, but more pepper. You know, on this cigar,
not
than anything.
Not a cinnamon flavor, but kind of a cinnamon spice. Like if you just took a spoonful of cinnamon, and you
when
got
you
that
say
little
that,
bit of like
when you say that, I can taste it. It's interesting when you smoke cigars with somebody that's got a really good palate, because he'll call out things and be like, okay, now I can taste that, and you're trying to put your palate on what you're tasting. Sometimes you can't taste it, you know. So and sometimes it's just made up. Some guys will be like, this tastes like cotton candy, and you're like, I don't taste that at all. I don't know what you're talking about. But there are things, and we've had cigars that taste like bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flavored cigar tastes like bubblegum one time.
That was crazy.
It was awful. It was disgusting. It was.
I hated that cigar.
I hated that cigar more than anything.
I remember that.
It was a good trial, though. It was a good trial. Like, it was something to see.
Wait, was that one Carrie was infusing them? Was that one that she infused?
No. It was a manufacturer.
It was a different one?
It was a manufacturer.
I remember
that.
that.
Like, I want to send these to you and see what you think. Remember that? And we tried them and we're like, these are awful.
Yeah.
You know, these are that whole thing, like, where you divide adults from kids.
But it wasn't
like
cigar. Good bubble gum.
Like I don't know. I thought it tasted like bubble gum.
Like bubble tape.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
you
just lick,
cheap.
You lick the like powder off of it.
That's what it tastes like.
Yeah.
It did. You would never want a bubblegum cigar. You just would not want that. I promise you, it was not pleasant. But a bubblegum shaped cigar, you know, those were big popular back in the day. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Remember those? Yeah, absolutely. So
the pink and blue ones.
Yeah, yellow, green.
The candy cigarettes, and some of them had the bubble gum in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Some of them you could blow smoke out of because they were just filled with powdered sugar.
Absolutely. Back in the day, dude.
I remember.
Back in the day. We're talking Halloween, 1982. Okay, that's what we're talking about.
It's so crazy, right? Like, how many kids do you think indulged in smoking cigars or cigarettes with those things around versus those things not being around as much now and kids divulging into that?
Oh, much more now than back then.
Weird, right?
Yeah, it is. It is, yeah.
It's almost
weird.
like we don't trust these people anymore for a reason.
I don't know. We're going to find out on the podcast. But that's been our 5 ways that we critique cigars, if you would. What are your 5 ways that you critique a cigar? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Drop a comment below, and you can catch us on the podcast, Cut Light and Smoke Podcast, or you can actually email us topics, okay, that you want us to talk about on the podcast. Email us at cutlightsmoke@gmail.com. Cutlightsmoke, all one word, @gmail.com, and we'll grab your comments there. So with that said, guys, we're going to finish these up on the podcast, and we're out of here like last year. Peace.